The Colombian government has agreed to receive migrants deported from the U.S., and President Trump has reinstated a ban on foreign organizations that receive aid from the U.S. from offering or even discussing abortion services. Good morning, I'm Kristen Wright from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. The president of Colombia has agreed to accept Colombian migrants deported from the U.S. after a series of threats from President Trump. Those threats included steep tariffs, as John Otis reports from Bogota.
The Trump administration tried to send 2 military aircraft with 160 deportees back to Colombia, but Colombian President Gustavo Petro revoked their landing rights, claiming the migrants were being mistreated. In response, Trump threatened to impose steep tariffs on all Colombian imports and other sanctions. Petro then announced reciprocal tariffs on U.S. imports and said in a message to Trump, quote, "Your blockade doesn't scare me." But apparently Petro had second thoughts. Colombian Foreign Minister Luis Gilberto Murillo ended the impasse by saying his country would, in fact, continue to receive deportation flights. For NPR News, I'm John Otis in Bogota, Colombia.
As NPR's Elena Moore reports, it's week 2 of President Trump's second term in the White House.
Immigration was a cornerstone of Trump's 2024 campaign, and it became a major part of his first week back in office as he attempted to end birthright citizenship, an order now temporarily blocked. Trump has also made structural changes to the government, including scrapping diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in federal offices. On foreign policy, the president pledged during the campaign to help end the Israel-Hamas war. Over the weekend, he told reporters that he wants Arab nations to accept more Palestinian people from Gaza.
We just clean out that whole thing. It's over the centuries that's had many conflicts, that site. And I don't know, it's something has to happen.
Trump added he was not sure if this would be temporary or long-term resettlement. Elena Moore, NPR News, Washington.
Tens of thousands of Palestinians in Gaza are returning home for the first time in more than a year. NPR's Aya Batrawi reports.
Israel ordered Palestinians to leave their homes in Gaza City and the north. And so more than 1 million people heeded those orders, leaving with just a few belongings, and many never imagined it would be 16 months of displacement. And during the war, Israeli forces carved out this miles-wide corridor isolating Gaza City in the north from the rest of the territory. But today, troops partly withdrew, allowing people to return, and this is a direct result of complex talks happening regarding the release of hostages and prisoners in the ceasefire.
NPR's Aya Batrawi reporting more hostages are expected to be freed in the coming days. President Trump has signed an executive order related to abortion. NPR's Fatma Tanis reports on the reinstatement of the Mexico City policy.
The Mexico City policy bans organizations that receive U.S. foreign assistance from offering or even discussing abortion services. Supporters of the policy say it ensures that providers will put their resources into the health needs of pregnant women. Critics say the policy has led to a reduction in access to contraception, a rise in unwanted pregnancies, and cutbacks in other health services like cervical and breast cancer screenings. The policy was first created under President Ronald Reagan. It has since been enacted by every Republican president and repealed by every Democrat president. Fatma Tanis, NPR News.
An exhibit featuring a recreation of the annex in Amsterdam, where Anne Frank wrote her famous diary while hiding from the Nazis, opens in New York City today. Jessica Gould from member station WNYC reports on the new exhibit.
Anne Frank, the exhibition at the Center for Jewish History, will guide visitors into the hidden, cramped quarters where she, her family, and 4 others lived for 2 years before being discovered and sent to death camps. There are 100 artifacts from the occupants' lives, some on display for the first time, and a recreation of the desk where Anne wrote her diary, including the words, "In spite of everything, I still believe people are really good at heart." The exhibit is a partnership with the Anne Frank House in Amsterdam and will be in New York City through April, with plans to travel to cities across the country after. For NPR News, I'm Jessica Gould in New York.
The Super Bowl matchup is set. The Kansas City Chiefs will play for a three-peat against the Philadelphia Eagles. In the AFC Championship game last night, the Chiefs beat Buffalo 32-29. The Eagles beat the Commanders in the NFC. It was not a close game. Philly won 55-23. This is NPR News from Washington.